My name's Natalie Lopez, and I was born and raised here in the Peñasco area in the little town of Rio Lucio. Growing up, there were some of the most wonderful years of my life. We lived just a field over from my grandparents. And, I'd eat lunch at my mom's, then go over there, eat lunch with my grandma and grandpa, come back home, have dinner at my mom's. If I went back to my grandma and grandpa's and she had beans and potatoes, that was the best meal. Those were the best beans ever that my grandmother made. When I recall, the family gatherings during the times whenever they would butcher a cow or a pig, they would have a big family gathering. All the uncles, aunts, cousins would come over and join in. The men would butcher, would butcher the cow outside, and then it became a big feast. One of the biggest memories for me was when the chicharrones were being made. They would make them fresh outside. They would cut all the pig fat and make the big batch of chicharrones. My grandma, my aunts would be making a fresh batch of tortillas inside, bring the tortillas outside, and roll up the chicharrones in the tortilla, and those were great memories of that happening. So I wasn't really officially taught how to make the chicharrones, just by watching and just being there, the experience of the entire thing. Watching them be cut up into little cubes, little squares, ready to deep fry them in the big cast iron frying pot outside that was, over an open flame. So just watching that so much, at least, twice a year is when we would kill a pig. And so it occurred that often. And just by observation is how I learned to do that. And again, I think, nobody sat there and said, okay, this is how you cut them, this is how you do it. It was just all by observation. I do own the little stand across the Catholic Church, La Jicarita Harvest, and one of my biggest sellers is the chicharrón burritos, and I enjoy that because it's something that's traditional, that people enjoy having once in a while. It's not a daily meal, but at least once in a while they eat the chicharrones, or the chicharrón burritos. So going to my roots growing up in Rio Lucio, it was all about, growing up around family. Again, we lived really close to my grandparents. It was, visiting them 5-6 times a day, back and forth all day. So it felt like I had two homes, my living with my parents and my grandparents. And one of the regrets I have is, having to move to the city to be with our, for our jobs, and that my kids didn't grow up in that kind of environment. And I'm hoping that someday, they'll say, I want to move back to Peñasco. That's the most wonderful place in the world.